Sup guys, I'm Nosy Metalhead. I'm doing 150 classic albums by the end of the year. Michael Jackson's Off the Walls on that. Same with Thriller and Bad. Um, and I have only heard the first and second Michael Jackson record, Ben and Forever Michael. I thought that was really good, despite the fact that they often panned by critics and stuff. Off the Wall is considered his best album. I'm very curious to see if that is the case. I'm also curious to see if I know any of the tracks off of it, because with a lot of Michael Jackson songs, just growing up, it feels like you're going to hear it and you will know some of the songs even if you don't know it. Um, so yeah, I'm curious because I don't think I know any song off this album, but yeah, let's get into it.
I was wondering, if you could keep on because the force it's got a lot of power and it makes me feel like it makes me feel like
I think I know this. See, this is one of them where it's like, I might have been able to get it from the title, but like from just looking at the title of the song, I didn't necessarily go, oh, I know this track. But as soon as it starts playing, it's like, ah, yes, I've heard this. Wait, was this sampled in any Daft Punk stuff? Because for whatever reason, the type of sounds that, vocals that Michael Jackson has reminds me of Daft Punk, despite the fact that I haven't even heard much Daft Punk. But it feels like the samples that Daft Punk uses with their music sound very Michael Jackson-esque because of the disco vibe, and I guess like Michael Jackson is the quintessential disco artist. It's not a very unique thought by any stretch of the imagination, but his voice is actually fucking unreal. One of my favorite artists is The Weeknd, and there is so much like listening to, especially early Michael. Uh, The Weeknd is so similar vocally to Michael Jackson, which makes sense. I still need to listen to Prince because that's another massive influence of The Weeknd, but The Weeknd's voice just can pierce into your soul, and I feel like Michael Jackson feels like a very it feels like the godfather of that. This is so crazy to me because I never thought of this track as Michael Jackson. I just thought of it as disco, right? And it's to me growing up. I'm born 2001, so I'm 23. But growing up listening to this song on the radio, it doesn't sound it sounds like it's Bee Gees Survivin' sort of thing, right? It doesn't. My brain doesn't instantly go to Michael Jackson. Like my thoughts of Michael Jackson is Thriller, or like Billie Jean or Smooth Criminal, that sort of thing, right? My brain instantly goes to that. My brain never goes to, oh, this quintessential pop disco hit, that's Michael Jackson. I would have, if you told me this was Bee Gees, if you played the song and was like, oh, this is Bee Gees, I would have been like, oh yeah, true. I would have never second guessed it. But not knowing that it's Michael Jackson, it's so weird to me. Especially because he obviously grew out of pop soul into disco. That was like his main thing, with like Ben into Forever Michael into this. It's like disco. But I just don't think of that for whatever reason. My brain instantly goes to the Bee Gees. I don't know if that's like some racist sort of thing, where it's like, I don't know, white faces in high places. And my brain instantly goes to that instead. But yeah, I don't know why I don't think of Michael Jackson. Also touching on that, I think it's just, I think growing up rural Australia, right? I incredibly white, and I think that's part of the reason why, like, when I'm asking my friends, because I'm getting really into music, listening to a bunch of albums and stuff. When I'm getting into music, if I ask them who's the greatest rapper of all time, they're going to instantly say Eminem, and that is like the whitest, a white way of saying that. Now, that doesn't discount the fact that you could, I don't know, not have this like preference or societal sort of thing, and not and say Eminem. Like, you can still have Eminem. Like, Marshall Mathers LP is a fuck classic. It's very close in my opinion to like Uki Mad City and T-Pap, but your brain instantly goes to that. I think that's just a thing that I feel like makes, as a system, is that like it's a bit of the systemic racism, right? I don't necessarily think that I'm racist. It's just I don't know disco, so my first brain instantly goes to the Bee Gees. Where it's like, are the Bee Gees even the biggest disco artist? Probably Michael Jackson is bigger, but just objectively. But my brain instantly goes to Bee Gees, and I think that's a lot of the same with people that don't necessarily listen to rap. Their brain instantly goes to Eminem. When you think of 50s rock, right? You don't go to, I think it's Chuck Berry. Brain instantly goes to Elvis Presley. That's that sort of thing. And I think I'm just noticing that pattern and seeing if I should deconstruct that, because like, I should look it more into it. It's like, is Bee Gees actually the biggest? Because that's what my brain instantly goes to when I think of disco. So I probably should go to Michael Jackson. When I think of pop though, my brain, like 80s pop, my brain probably does go to Michael Jackson though. Yeah, I don't know, just food for thought. Because why didn't I know that this was a Michael Jackson song? That feels silly. It played probably just as much as Survivin' by the Bee Gees. Why didn't my brain instantly connect it? I don't know. obviously with my commentary on the racial aspect of like why doesn't my brain instantly go to Michael Jackson? This track is fucking perfect. That's part of the reason why I'm wondering why didn't I think of this? Why yeah, that sort of thing. Also, I'm not meaning to be like radical or touch on like touchy subjects or I don't know be confronting or anything like that. It's just the stuff that came to my mind because this is complete. I haven't listened to disco. I haven't listened to albums. But if you don't know who I am, it's like I listened to Linkin Park growing up. I listened to Bring Me the Horizon. I listened to some pop punk like Sum 41, that sort of thing, right? Green Day. But I never really listened to albums. The only albums I had heard was probably like Linkin Park Hybrid Theory, that sort of thing. And then that was like sort of the gateway into rap, which I ended up a lot of my channel was based off of that, and then also going into because I love rock, trying to and metal and stuff like that, just listening to a bunch of Nirvana, Pearl Jam, that sort of thing, just looking into the history of all of the music and that sort of thing. And yeah, that's the reason why I brought it up. There was no, I don't know. It's just curious because if you asked me before I got into rap who was the most influential rapper, I don't know, my brain probably would have just went to Eminem if you asked 15-year-old me. But that's just not true. If you but once you listen to rap, it's like, oh, like Nas, Biggie, fucking NWA, that sort of stuff is obviously the answers. And just I don't know, trying to decompress and deconstruct. Why did my brain instantly go to the white people? I probably just because I grew up rural and that's the stuff that I was hearing around. Like Eminem was around me when I was listening up, but that's also like conditioning that comes from like a systemic thing. Yeah, just curious. Just curious. But that's probably it's hard because I haven't listened to a bunch of disco, but definitely up there for the top disco track that I've heard. And it makes me interesting for the rest of it. Like what Rock With You, right? The next track has a decent amount of streams as well. I think it has even more than Don't Stop Until You Get Enough, and that means I probably have heard it, but I don't remember it from like the. Ooh. Mm. I actually don't think I've heard this. And the streaming numbers here are bigger than Don't Stop Until You Get Enough. I don't think I've heard this. Ooh. Fuck, you know what's the hardest part? I actually don't know if I've heard this track or if I've just heard The Weeknd do very similar tracks to this. The production on this entire track and also on the last one is kind of insane. I guess for me, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough kind of reminds me of the 70s a lot more. But this track, I don't know if it's just because of a bunch of the After Hours and Dawn FM weekend stuff that I've listened to. A lot of this sounds so much fresh, like so fresh, especially for 1970s, right? And just unbelievable. Um, yeah, I can't think of like a pop star from this era that I've heard some songs from that I'm like, oh, that sounds as timeless as this track does. Because this set, like, as much as maybe it could just be the fact that we're having a bunch of 80s revival and 70s revival, right? But I know the cleanness and pristineness of the instrumentation and the like tiny ad libs. I would just say musical ad libs because it's not like vocals, but it's like musical ad libs of like the little whistles and stuff like that. It's like that's really cool and dynamic. It's part of the reason why I love like let's say Dark Side of the Moon for the record. It's just like how they made a sonic soundscape, and this kind of has a lot of that, but in pop music, which is a place where it's you tend stuff to be cookie cutter, but this isn't, and it's really gorgeous because of it. Mm, 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 mm. Mm. I think I like this track more than Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, and it's so crazy that I don't think I've ever heard it before because the only stuff that I recognize is like the all night harmonization stuff at the end, right? But I distinctly remember that being on Dawn FM as well. So it's just so sick that I haven't heard this track before. It's the most popular one, and it's my favorite one so far. I feel like such a normie, but who gives a fuck? Mm, 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 mm. 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 This I can actually understand why people rate the earlier Michael Jackson albums with Ben and Forever Michael lower than I think they should. Because when I first listened to him, it was the first time listening to Michael Jackson, especially the record like albums. I've only heard like songs here and there before, right? I listened to it and I was like, why the fuck are people giving it like a six? It deserves more than that. It's like he's like 12 when he's making it. Like, why are we being ultra harsh on this fucking 12-year-old? And he ma- like and the tracks are like pretty good. Like most of it, I don't know, like half of Ben, I don't I wouldn't go back to, but it's still good stuff. It just doesn't itch with me, right? I would prefer to listen to a 10 out of 10 track instead of like a 6 or 7, right? But there was still there was a highlight, Ben's a highlight, and then on Forever Michael, there's like a few highlights on that album. There's quite a few good tracks on there. So I was always like, why are the albums rated so much lower? And then now listening to like Off the Wall, it's like, oh, okay, he just improved upon it. Like he just made these, like his voice was still the same. He still had the same like star power when he was like a 16-year-old making Forever Michael, but the instrumentation in the background wasn't as good. It was more rudimentary, and I can now see why people rate those albums so much lower when this one is obviously better. In saying that, I still think that those other albums are a bit underappreciated, and I feel like we hold them to the standard, like we hold 16-year-old Michael Jackson to the standard of 20-something-year-old Michael Jackson when he's making Thriller and Bad and Off the Wall. It's like that's probably not fair. We're judging a 12-year-old and a 16-year-old very harshly. Yeah, but I can see it because this is a really, really well done. Like all of the instrumentation is firing on all cylinders. And I wonder, I don't know the history of it with Quincy Jones. Did Quincy Jones come in with Thriller or did he come with Off the Wall, or was it even earlier? Because I know that they're like a famous duo, right? And maybe it's his production that like elevated him. I'm curious.
You say that working is what a man's supposed to do.
It does seem like Quincy Jones came in for Off the Wall. I'm just curious if he worked with Forever Michael and stuff like that. Because if that's the case, it's like obviously Michael Jackson has the star power and the vocals to be able to be the top of the world, which ended up being the case, obviously. But it's cool that he got paired with Quincy Jones, who clearly has a knack for the production and could take him to new heights.
And I say it ain't right if I can't get sweet love to you. I'm tired of thinking of what my life's supposed to be. Well, soon enough, darling, this love will be reality. How can you live, girl? 'Cause love for us was meant to be. Well, then you must be seeing some other guy instead of me. Ooh, that's why you got me working day and night, and I'll be working from sun to midnight. You got me working day and night. Oh no, you got me working day and night. I'm so tired now. You got me working day and night. Hold on, you got me working day and night.
Ooh. Ooh. Bro, like Quincy Jones is actually insane. I looked it up, and the trilogy that is considered Michael Jackson's best, with Off the Wall into Thriller into Bad, were his classic albums, right? Was all produced by Quincy Jones, and when Quincy Jones left, his albums were considered worse. That's interesting. Like that's very interesting. Like that, I vaguely knew of that, but of like Quincy Jones and Michael Jackson's like creative duo. But it's kind of insane that it's like them together made all of the albums that people hold most dear. And I can definitely see it. Like the production is a fucking stellar. Like I was talking about it on the last track where it's like, holy shit, this sounds timeless. And that is obviously Quincy Jones because he's like the sole producer too. I think it's on Bad he is producing with Michael Jackson, but with Off the Wall and Thriller, it's sole production by Quincy Jones. Obviously, there's some collaborative effort with Michael Jackson, but Michael Jackson isn't listed as credited for production. Quincy Jones is insane. Yeah.
You see that
there's a whole lot more of Michael Jackson isms in Off the Wall as well, and I wonder if that was at the behest of just Michael Jackson growing up and he's not 16 anymore, if that's from Quincy Jones, because like how all of that sort of stuff was kind of non-existent on the previous albums. This album is very consistent. It is actually just insane how amazing the production is. I could be ranting more about Michael Jackson's vocals, but I feel like that is obvious. But with the production, it's just so amazing on this entire album. Yeah. This track was more chill. There was like a lot more production breaks and stuff like that, but still on the same level as every other song. That is flawless. Like there's not a single part of any of the songs where I could be like, oh yeah, that's a bit bad, or anything like just completely flawless, airtight so far. And that's like rather rare because like even Revolver, I've listened to Revolver and I love that album. There are some shortcomings on that album, Taxman, Yellow Submarine, that sort of thing. This is just airtight, and I love how concise the album is going to be. 10 tracks. If it's every single track is perfect, then it's like, ooh, that's some good shit. I love 10-song, 40-minute albums that are just airtight, perfect. Shows like top tier artistry. Fiona Apple's When the Pawn, Titanic Rising's Ways Blood, Off the Wall, Michael Jackson, it seems. But yeah. Ooh. This is stunning.
When the world is on your shoulder, gotta straighten up your act and boogie down. If you can't hang with the feeling, then there ain't no room for you in this part of town. Cause we're the party people night and day, living crazy, that's the only way. So tonight, gotta leave the 9 to 5 up on the shelf.
Already, I think this might be my favorite track on the album. Just 50 seconds in, just the production. I keep talking about that, but like it's so airy and beautiful and stunning. It feels so seasonal as well, mixed with and then Rock With You is another top one because I just love the end of phrases, lyrics and stuff like that. Just be ad-libs throwing in. Yeah, this is so stunning.
And just enjoy yourself. Groove. Let the madness in the music get to you. Like it's so bad at all. If you live it off the wall. Like it's so bad at all. Live life off the wall. Live your life off the wall. Live it on the wall. You can shout out all you want to. Cause there ain't no sin and folks are getting loud. If you take the chance and do it, then there ain't no one who's gonna put you down. Cause we're the party people night and day, living crazy, that's the only way. So tonight, gotta leave the 9 to 5 up on the shelf and just enjoy yourself. Come on and move, and let the madness in the music get to you. Life is so bad at all. If you live it off the wall. Life is so bad at all. Live life off the wall. Live your life off the wall. Live it off the wall. Do what you want to do. There ain't no rules, it's up to you. It's time to get alive and party alright through the night. Alright, your inhibitions. Gotta let that fool loose deep inside your soul. Wanna see you in exhibition. Better do it now before you get too old. Cause we're the party people night and day, living crazy, that's the only way. So tonight,
I think this is just his best vocal performance, which is kind of crazy because it's like splitting hairs amongst like one of the greatest vocalists of all time. But like I just love how his voice sounds on this album, and mixed with the beautiful instrumentals in the back. Yeah.
leave the 9 to 5 up on the shelf and just enjoy yourself. Come on, you, yeah. Let the madness in the music get to you. Life is so bad at all. Live it off the wall. Life is so bad at all. Live it off the wall. Live your life off the wall. So tonight, gotta leave the 9 to 5 up on the shelf
I don't like mentioning other artists as much in the reactions to compare, but because like it should be focused on Michael Jackson, it should be focused on the amazing album that he's making. But it is just making me think so much of The Weeknd, where The Weeknd started out not sounding anything like Michael Jackson, maybe just a bit vocally. He has like a high register, right? And it's just interesting the parallels between like what I say is my generation's Michael Jackson with The Weeknd. He breaks every streaming number, every single. He has like 3 times the tracks that have a billion plus streams than the person in second. He has the most streamed song and most popular song of all time with Blinding Lights, and it's just interesting seeing the trajectory of Weeknd in relation to now listening to Michael Jackson for the finally because he started out as just doing dark R&B and making his own style of R&B that ended up sweeping the 2010s. And then once he got to like massive stardom, he paired up with Max Martin to do a trilogy. Who Max Martin is the most prolific producer of all, like of at least my generation, because he has like something like 40 number one songs, all the way from NSYNC Baby, Hit Me One More Time stuff, to now where he produced a trilogy for um, The Weeknd. And it's just so interesting that as soon as he paired up with his Quincy Jones, he made a trilogy that ended up being amazing, that everyone gives him his biggest plaudits, and he sounds basically the exact same as Michael Jackson. Because After Hours, Dawn FM into Hurry Up Tomorrow sounds very like he sounds unbelievably similar. He has a bunch of synth pop, which is like our version of disco, and it's just really cool seeing that parallel because it allows me to at least have like some sort of reverence for what it was like for people at the time for Michael Jackson, because I fucking love The Weeknd. Granted, he's not as, no one will ever get to Michael Jackson stardom, but he was at least close, and he got to the number one streaming. And it's just the similarities between their rise is so interesting, because like the pop soul is kind of similar to an R&B for Michael Jackson in his earlier years. With Weeknd, he did dark R&B, which is very different to R&B. But like, I don't know, there's a lot of similarities there, and that's just kind of fucking cool. It gives me a lot of respect for Michael Jackson, because it's like I wouldn't have had one of my favorite artists without Michael Jackson, because he's very similar, and especially his later half of his career. This track is less funky and like less technically proficient than the other tracks, but like I think this is my favorite track on the album. Just the way his vocals is able to build off of it, build off of the sounds that he's having and stuff like that. It's just really gorgeous. It reminds me of like, I don't know, a slower, more intimate, cuter pace to like the last track, Off the Wall, which had just, I feel like the song itself fit his voice so much.
Tell your boy
Like lyrically, it's obviously a lot less complex and stuff like that. He's just doing do 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 do, but it's like such a charming track that I think this might be my favorite on the album. It's just his voice is so stunning that, and everything just works well together, despite the fact that it's like a much simpler song than the other ones. This is stunning too. Mm.
She's out of my life.
Ooh. I really like the tracks that focus on Michael Jackson's voice as well.
She's out of my life. And I don't know whether to laugh or cry. I don't know whether to live or die. And it cuts like a knife. She's out of my life. It's out of my hands. It's out of my hands. To think for 2 years she was here, and I took her for granted. I was so cavalier. Now the way that it stands, she's out of my hands. So I've learned that love.
It's weird because I don't necessarily have an affinity for like Christmas sort of stuff, or seasonal vibes. But for whatever reason, this track, and there's like one or two tracks before, the instrumentals reminded me so much of like seasonal, like Christmas snowy sort of nostalgia, and I'm not usually one that is warmed up to that a lot. Um, but I really love it here. Like it's really fucking nice. Like him just doing a slow track with his vocals, with this seasonal vibe. It's like it's super nostalgic. It hits me warm in the fuzzy feelings. I just love it.
Loves are not possession. And I've learned that love won't wait. Now I've learned that love needs expression, but I learned too late, and she's out of my life. She's out of my life. Damn indecision and cursed pride. I kept my love for her locked deep inside, and it cuts like a knife. She's out of my life.
Yeah, it's a lot simpler and it doesn't have like the same level of funky Quincy Jones production or anything, but I'm sure he's still doing this one, but he doesn't have like the quintessential like funky beats and stuff. But I really like these slow tracks where his voice is just made to shine.
time. I can't help it if I wanted to. I wouldn't help it even if I could. I can't help it if I wanted to. I wouldn't help it. No, I can't help it if I wanted to. I wouldn't help it even if I could. I can't help it if I wanted to. I wouldn't help it. No. Left to run my fingers softly while you sigh. Love came and possessed you, bringing sparkles to your eyes, like a trip to heaven. Heaven is the prize, and I'm so glad I found you. Yeah, you're an angel in disguise. I can't help it if I wanted to. I wouldn't help it even if I could. I can't help it if I wanted to. I wouldn't help it. No, I can't help it if I wanted to. I wouldn't help it even if I could. I can't help it if I wanted to. I wouldn't help it. No.
This is very much in the same ballpark as She's Out of My Life Girlfriend as well. Like, I love him on these slower style tracks. I think like his charisma is infectious on the more upbeat, like funkier tracks, but like there is something very special about his voice when it's on a slower track like this.
And I'm so glad I found you. Yeah, you're an angel in disguise. I can't help it if I wanted to. I wouldn't help it even if I could. I can't help it if I wanted to. I wouldn't help it. No, I can't help it if I wanted to. I wouldn't help it even if I could. I can't help it if I wanted to. I wouldn't help it. No, I can't help it if I wanted to. I wouldn't help it even if I could. I can't help it if I wanted to. Wouldn't help it. No, no, I can't help it if I wanted to. I wouldn't help it even if I could. I can't help it if I wanted to. Wouldn't help it. No, no, no.
It's just so whimsical. I love it so much. Like the this back half is I probably even prefer this back half to the front half, and the front half was already perfect.
It's the falling in love that's making me high. It's the being in love that makes me cry, cry. Falling in love, got me falling in love. You're not like anybody I ever knew, but that don't mean that I don't know where we are. And though I find myself attracted to you, this time I'm trying not to go too far, 'cause no matter how it starts, it ends the same. Someone's always doing someone more. Trading Each time I do, they kind of burn right through me. Don't wanna lay down in a bed full of lies, and yet my heart is saying, come and do me. Now it's just a web of mystery, a possibility, a more to come. I'd rather leave the fantasy of what might be, but here I go falling again. It's the falling in love that's making me high. It's the being in love that makes me cry, cry, cry. Falling in love that's making me high. It's the being in love that makes me cry, 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 cry. Over you all night. It's the falling. You got me falling in love. Got me falling in love. Love makes me cry, cry, cry. It's the falling in love that's making me high. It's the being in love that makes me cry, cry, cry. It's the falling in love that's making me high. It's the being in love that makes me cry, cry, cry. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm falling in love. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm falling in love. Yeah. It's the falling in love that's making me high. It's the being in love that makes me cry, cry, cry. It's the falling in love that's making me high. It's the being in love that makes me
This album is so perfect. There's not one chink in the armor. There is not one fault throughout the entire record. Everything front to back is perfect, and I just know this because the last track's going to be perfect too. Why would I bet against it? It's this is an insane album. It's hard because when I'm doing my rankings, I'm trying to be more harsh, right? But for whatever reason, this might not get like a. This should be like this album is so front to tight that like if someone said like, oh, this is a top 5 album of all time, it's like yeah, oh, yeah, so valid. But like after I'm doing my rankings, because I have a 1 out of 10 system, but then I do 11 out of 10 for the greatest songs of all time. I don't know which songs I would consider greatest of all time because I could give it to all of them, or I could give it to some of them, or none of them. And I'm trying to be more harsh lately, so I have no idea because it's like this is just a perfect album. It is just front to back perfect. And it deserves to have like in my own rating system, deserves to be put next to the best albums of all time, To Pimp a Butterfly. Like To Pimp a Butterfly has a lower point on the album than this does, but I would say that overall, like the album itself is better because it just has so much substance to it. Red of the Die is the same thing, but I have no idea. Like this album is just perfect. It's just perfect. Like if someone said this is the greatest album of all time, I haven't heard Thriller, but I know that's always on the list. But if like someone said like, oh, this is the greatest album of all time, it's like fair. That's so valid. Such a fair pick. Like there is nothing wrong with this record. Not one little tiny bit.
There's a sting beat, and it's coming after you. You can dig it if you only let your feelings through. So DJ, spin the sound. There ain't no way that you're gonna let us down. Gonna dance, gonna balance this go round. I think they believe you're right. You're awesome. Everybody just get around. Got a hot foot. Better flick across the floor. Join the party. And we keep you moving, that's for sure. So got the groove just like you know you should. Hit one now, are you ready? Won't you ride across the room? Get a feeling that we're gonna raise the roof off soon. So DJ spin the sound. There ain't no way that you're gonna sit us down. Gonna dance till we burn this disco round. Keep the boogie alright. Groove on. Everybody just get on out. Groove on. So DJ spin the sound. There ain't no way that you're gonna sit us down. Gonna dance till we burn this.
I have this with every single track before while we're getting to the end of this. Every single song, I'm like, oh, this is my favorite. Oh no, this is my favorite. Oh no, this is my favorite. And I've had that ever since like Off the Wall. I'm like, this is my favorite. This is my favorite. There's no favorites. They're all my favorites. They're all just so perfect.
Groove on. Gonna dance, gonna shout. Groove on. This disco vibe. Everybody get down tonight. Gonna dance, gonna shout. Gonna this disco vibe. Keep the boogie alright. Gonna dance, gonna shout. Gonna find this disco vibe. Everybody get down tonight. Gonna dance, gonna shout. Gonna find this disco vibe. Keep the boogie alright. Gonna dance, gonna shout. Gonna find this disco vibe.
This is easily one of the most flawless albums I've ever heard. Just stunning. Absolutely stunning. Front to back, there is not a single nick. Everything is in perfect. It's just perfect. Yeah, I'm so curious about Thriller because this one is considered as best by critics and stuff like that. And I think maybe the popular, you could drop your favorite albums down below, but like I feel like the popular one is Thriller because it has all the songs on it. But this album is so it has no, there's not a single flaw. It is air so airtight. Yeah. What the hell? Easily one of the best albums I've ever heard. I know I've been saying that decently often, but like, damn, I've been listening to some good stuff. I think it's because I'm picking stuff that I think I will like and that is rated super highly because I listened to Views by Drake and really hated it. So I've been trying to refine my love for music again, and just every album is really good. Granted, this one feels more flawless than the other ones, than a lot of the other ones that I was like, damn, this is one of the best listening experiences. But this one, yeah. If someone had this as their best album of all time, it's like, sure. But I can't fault it. There's not one thing I can point out, but like, oh, but what about this piece? There's nothing. What would you even point out? Yeah, there's nothing. I know, yeah. It blows me away. Yeah, thank you for watching. I love you all. If you want some album reactions, Patreon, you can ask me to do one album that isn't a classic. I have a list of like 300 and something that is on my Discord. Or you can ask me to do like 2 album reactions of a month of albums that are on that classics list, and I'll just get to it quicker because I have a massive list. I want to do 150 by the end of the year. I'm at like 60ish at the moment, and it's June. So YouTube people's probably 8 months in the making. But yeah, I want to do 150, but I have 300, so I'm happy to cruise through that because I've done about 65 in 2 months. So yeah, let's go in. Thank you for watching. I love you so much. Thank you for the support. It means the world. Peace.